Hello and welcome. In today's episode on the TDSM podcast, we have Shimmy Morris. Shimmy is a super experienced seller. He actually sold something for the first time when he was 12 years old, making his full sales history experience over 17 years. Much like myself, he is a serial entrepreneur that has also dealt with the ebbs and flows and the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur. From getting scammed out of thousands of dollars of materials, of products, to having many trial and errors and failures in business. Again, much like myself, all of those things have really attributed to him having such an interesting journey in business now that he's sold well over $1 million on the online landscape. He has such a broad resume from eBay to Amazon to Etsy to Shopify, building brands on Shopify, that I'm really excited to share with you his journey on today's episode. So let's get into today's episode. Welcome everybody to the Till Death Stop Me podcast, because the inevitable is one day we are going to die. Sounds pretty morbid, right? But you want to know what I think is even more depressing? Merely existing on this planet and not achieving, not going, not experiencing, not meeting, not having every single thing that I've ever wanted in this life. We have one shot to do this thing right. So we might as well experience every single thing we've ever wanted, have every single thing that we've ever wanted, build communities with long-lasting, meaningful relationships. Most importantly, achieve our ideal version of what success looks like to us. So that is why in this podcast, we're going to be interviewing people that, even against all the odds, have been able to do that and are working constantly every single day to build their ideal lifestyle. So without further ado, thank you for tuning in, guys. Let's get into this episode. Alrighty, and welcome, Shimmy, to the TDSM podcast today.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward.
Yes, I know we've been trying to do this interview for a minute now, so I'm so happy that we can finally make this happen. So
Yeah, it's going to be good.
it is. Tell me about this 12-year-old self that was just this serial entrepreneur that decided, hey, I'm going to start selling things. Who was that person?
So when I first started school, we went at high school at 11. I literally on my first day, I sold my phone because I got a phone when I turned 11. Because I was starting high school, I got to get a phone. I sold that phone for a profit to another kid in school who didn't yet have a phone, and I was like, "Whoa, that was cool." And I think I made like £8, like less than $15 or something. But I went home. My mum was not happy because this was a brand new phone, and it was like one of those Nokia brick phones. But like I don't know what it did, but it just I don't know. It was a good feeling. It was like a fire. And then I got hooked and I started selling food. I would go to Costco and buy, like with my auntie, because she had a Costco membership, and just buy a ton of stuff in bulk and sell that. And then only after selling for like just over a year in school, which is why it was when I was 12, did I start buying stuff on like in bulk and selling on eBay through my mum's eBay account, because you're not allowed to have an eBay account if you're not 18. But I remember getting a phone call from PayPal and answering the phone, and my voice hadn't broken yet, so I could give off the impression that I was my mum without anyone questioning it, which is brilliant. Because PayPal called a whole bunch of times, and they're just like, "There's an influx of money into this account. Why isn't it a business account? What's going on?" The amount of times they closed the account and eBay closed the account, and like to this day, I don't think I'll ever forget like my mum's birthday, my mum's details, like
Because you had to be 18. Is it because you had to be?
Yeah, you had to be 18 to do it. So I had to, the amount of times I had to like recount all my mum's information, her mother's maiden name, date of birth, to all of this kind of stuff, and I was like, I'm never going to forget it. But yeah, it just kind of got me hooked into selling, and it was really young, and then it kind of escalated from there, because as I got older, I started making more money. I could spend more money, and I'm spending more. I'm buying more expensive things, so I'm making more. So it got to a point where like I was buying like iPhones and selling iPhones and doing all that kind of stuff. But this is all still in school. Like, it didn't get
Wow.
serious until I left school.
So were your parents entrepreneurial, or why do you think you were like that?
My dad, like, my dad is an accountant, but he runs his own accountancy. He's a chartered accountant, but he works for himself, so he doesn't work for a company. So I guess there's an element of that. Um, my mum, well, at the time she didn't have a job, um, but I don't know. Like, I knew I was now, like, never going to go to university. I knew I didn't want to get a job. Like,
Yeah,
from like early, I knew I didn't want to have a job.
yeah,
And it kind of just happened. I mean, most of my family members work for themselves except for one.
mm,
Two. My two sisters have jobs, but all my brothers work for themselves. They have their own companies.
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I'm very much the same. Like there's some people I feel like fell into entrepreneurship by like accident, and I'm very much was already worrying about what I needed to know. I wasn't selling my phone. I actually wanted to keep my phone when I first got a phone. I actually had to buy my own phone, but that's a great story. So fast forward to after college, or after not college, high school, I
School.
guess,
Yeah.
primary school. You turn 18. What is your first, do you just continue flipping things, or what is that next step?
No, no. I left school and did a gap year for like 6 months. So just like literally took a break from everything. Well, saying that, in my gap year I sold stuff, but it was like really, like, I wasn't focusing on it at all. And then I came back. It was meant to be a year. It lasted just over 5 months because there was a business opportunity which was print on demand at the time. So this is really early print on demand, and I was like, this is cool. This is going to blow up. I want to get involved in this now. And my friends who were on the gap year were like, just wait. You got 6, 7 months left. Just whatever, chill. It's fine. I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, if I don't do this now, it will be oversaturated in 7 months. It will be over. I had no idea that 10 years later it will still be a big thing. But like, I'm happy I did it because I came home early and started this print on demand business, but with Facebook ads. It was like a very unique way of doing print on demand at the time. Not many people were doing it, and it blew up. Like, it
Mm,
absolutely blew up. It did like 50 grand in the first 3 months. Like, it really took off. And for
wow.
like, at the time, I was 18 turning 19. So like, I started like January and my birthday's in February. So I was basically 19. Um, and it was more money than a 19-year-old should have. I was really stupid with it, um, but yeah, that's kind of like what kickstarted everything. Because it also was really bad because making that amount of money at that age in the first doing the first legitimate thing, like, not that the other things weren't legitimate, but like doing your first business,
Mm,
it completely uh, warps your mentality of earning money and understanding the value of money. And like, if there was something where I could earn like a grand or two a month, I would just be like, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm not interested. It's a waste of time. And it's
mm,
like, that's a really bad mentality. It's like, no, you should say yes to everything. Like, like, you should really don't just turn down opportunities because it's not 100 grand a month or something stupid.
mm.
It took me a really long time to get over that and to realize I was just an idiot.
Wow, you set the bar really high for yourself,
Yeah,
I guess.
by
You could say.
accident. Yeah, I set it really high by accident because I hit on this trend. Well, I hit on this opportunity. Um,
Mm,
and I think in a way it was, I shot myself in the foot because if I my next major business didn't come for like another 2 years, if I hadn't have done that and I would have just worked my way up, I feel like I'd be a lot further ahead now than I am because
mm.
I wouldn't have had that 2 years of just saying no to things and just being a, I don't know, like, really prissy about what I said yes and no to. Because
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. What Looking back, I mean, you said that you spent the money poorly, I guess, but what would you have spent the money on looking back instead?
Bitcoin.
Real?
Do you know how
Real?
many times? You know how many times a day I get on my calculator. I'm like, oh, okay, so Bitcoin was about $2. I could have done 50 grand. I'd have like 400 million or something. Like, it's like so depressing.
That is
Um,
really depressing. Don't do that to yourself,
no, no, I know. I've
honestly.
got to stop doing it. Honestly, like, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Um, but
Wow.
yeah, it's. What would I have spent the money on? So like, I don't know. What I probably should have done was start investing it, not necessarily Bitcoin, but like starting to put a few thousand away in the S&P 500 like every month, put some
Mm,
money away, put some money like aside for new business ventures. I
mm,
literally just spent it all, like
mhm.
all of it on stupid car, multiple shopping. This is the first time in my life where I had a serious amount of money. Like in school, I made money, but it was a few thousand here and there. This was
Mm,
the first time I had like, and like I don't come from money, so like growing up, I didn't have like really fancy things or anything. Like I bought my own clothes and all that kind of stuff. So this is the first time I had money, and I was 19 and I was stupid, and I was just like, but my friends were still in their gap year. They hadn't even
mm.
started university, which was going to be a 4-year career for them to then go and get a job. And I was already at this stage.
Like, you made it.
Yeah, right. It's so stupid because I hadn't made it, and like it was my immaturity that was like, I've made it. Like this is it. I'm a billionaire now. I can go and do this and do that, and it was stupid. But
That
whatever. You live and you learn. You know.
you do live and you learn, and I think that's a really great message to especially a lot of any younger people listening. Because even on YouTube, I would see. I remember I hired this kid to teach me TikTok ads. That was just I don't drop ship, but I think he was doing some sort of drop shipping model, but he was killing it with like TikTok ads, doing this like gimmick thing, but whatever. He had the strategy of how to do it. And he had been like 2 months in, already buying like G Wagons and stuff like that. And it's like, it's such a, first of all, the model he was doing alone was like risky, but it was just like, oh man, I wouldn't be blowing $300,000 on a G-Wagon,
Yeah.
even because you think you get this green thumb and it's like, oh, this is never gonna end. This is never gonna end.
Yeah.
And then
It
yeah,
always ends.
we all are definitely, you're not alone in that. Trust me. You're definitely not alone. So
Yeah.
after that business, I guess what happened? It just slowed down, or competitors, the CPAs got too expensive. What happened?
A mixture of things, but like I think the biggest thing was just I didn't like it. I had a drive for it at the beginning, and the drive was money.
Mm-hmm.
I was motivated by the money, and then I made the money. So then I wasn't really motivated by the money anymore because I'd made the money. And then it was like, now what? And I wasn't enjoying it. I had no drive to do it. So I was like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do this anymore. Um, on top of that, ads got more expensive, profit margins cut down a little bit. And I was being that person being like, if I can't make this much money, then I don't want to do it at all. It's not worth it. Which again was really stupid. But yeah, so I stopped that and I moved on to like random things, like random things. Like I did lots of freelance work. I did photography, videography. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of dabbled in lots of different things in a way to get experience in lots of different things so that I could kind of, I could just go and do anything and just know how to do it. Um, and then I created a couple of courses that I put on Udemy, which is like a platform bit like Skillshare,
Mm,
um, which did okay. It made quite a lot of money from that as well,
mm.
which was good fun. But my next proper business was my Amazon FBA business that I set up with my brother. That was like the next proper business.
Mm. Okay,
Yeah.
one question, just backing up a little bit. When you left the primary business that, you were getting old of or getting tired of or whatever, do you feel like, just because in my own journey I did this as well, I got to a certain point where I also had this big head, and when things started going wrong or margins started getting slightly less and competition, whatever, instead of just doubling down and just going through it to come back out on top again, I kind of did the same, well, not the same thing per se. I got really distracted with like a whole bunch of different things, when really it was like, dang, I wish I would have just stuck it out and doubled down on that thing. So is that kind of like the same thing with that initial?
Yeah, probably. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like you just didn't know what you had until you realized what you had.
yeah. Like I had a problem of, and I still do, of like trying to do everything. Like I love
Mm,
having as many businesses, and only recently, like this year, 2024, literally, have I realized no, I've got to just focus on one or two things. So now I'm focusing on two things.
okay.
Sorry, three things. Better than
Aren't we
like
all?
10 things. But now I'm focusing on three things, and that's it. That's where my attention is going. But I was very much the person who would have like 10 things or 20 things, and I would be like juggling between all these things and not giving any of them my all, and then
Mm,
dropping things as soon as like it just didn't seem worth it for me. And that's kind of like what happened. t-shirts was one of a few things, and then I lost the motivation. It started getting harder. I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. And I dropped it. Went to the next thing, dropped it. But so it's a shame because like yeah, like if I would have stuck with it at print on demand business, I could have been 7 figures a month doing print on demand now, considering I would have got into the game probably before anyone else that I know or watch on YouTube.
God, that's like such the story. That is the same exact story. Like looking back, I got bored, I got distracted. And CPAs are going up a little bit, but then like looking back, it's like you just, or at least I didn't realize. I was like, whoa, if I just doubled down, this 1 million a year would have been 3 million the next year. But that's just what we do. It's what we do. But super valuable that we sit here and talk about it so other people can learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. That's awesome that you've learned all that. And I guess I had something else to say that went along the lines. Oh, so I guess if you had to have a conversation with that younger self as like a big brother, what would you say?
Well, it's really funny you say that actually, because my older brother, who he's 2 years older than me, and I saw him doing the exact same thing. He started earning money a little bit after me, because I don't actually know why it was a little bit after me. He went to college and he did a couple more years than me and stuff like that. But when he started earning money, I saw him spend as soon as his paycheck came in. And I could see him doing the same thing as me. And I literally sat down and had a full-on conversation with him, which is weird as well, because like as a younger person in the situation, and usually people are just like, oh, go away, who are you, but he listened, and he would spend a lot of money as well, and now he's like the biggest saver I know. Like it completely changed him. So what would I tell myself? I would literally say plan 5 years ahead, stop thinking day to day. So yeah, like say I make 10 grand today, that's great, but what does 10 grand mean over the next year, over the next 2 years? It's not that much money if you think about it. So how are you going to use it wisely? And like going and buying a whole bunch of designer clothing is not using it wisely. So I would have just taught my younger self, about money management, which I really wish they taught in school or like something like that, but
Right.
there was nothing. But I would have taught, money management, investing, forecasting, planning, all these kind of basic concepts that could massively change your life if you just understand them and use them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess that's why most kids go to YouTube now for information. It really is. It's kind of crazy. Like on social media, you see these like 15-year-old kids verbatim just sounding like Gary Vee, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, they're just consuming so much information. I mean, I think there is kids that are paying attention and care, which is a way smaller percentage than the kids that don't. But for the kids that do, you're like, dang, you sound like you're 30 and you're 12.
Yeah. I don't
So,
even know who would have been like the big players on YouTube 10 years ago that I would have been watching, because I didn't actually watch that much YouTube when I first started. So like it just wasn't a thing. There wasn't all these businessy guru-y type people on YouTube. So I don't
yeah.
even like I took a course from a guy called Donald Wilson. That was the first course I ever took, which was the t-shirt. He taught me first about t-shirts. And that's kind of like who I learned from, and it was great. But like he didn't teach you about the money side of it and the managing it and the investing it, because like that's not he was niche into his specific thing, which is fair. But yeah, I don't think there was that many people or anyone 10 years ago talking about money management and that kind of thing.
Right, right. Well, it's definitely only going to become a greater stressor as time goes on, especially because colleges don't want you to know that. Otherwise, no one would be taking out student loans. So,
Yeah.
when you were doing the POD, what print providers were even available?
Teespring. I was using Teespring 100%.
Okay, I don't even
Yeah.
know. That must be. Are they still around, or is it
They've
gone?
rebranded to Spring, and
Mm,
they've changed massively. I can't stand them as a company anymore. But this is how crazy it was. When I first started, it wasn't even the way it is now. It
mm,
was proper crowdsourced print on demand. So I would create a listing, and I would choose a goal. So let's say 25 sales or 10 sales. The larger the goal, the better the individual price of each item was. So if my goal was 10, let's say a t-shirt would cost $10. If my goal was 100, each t-shirt would cost me $5. I can't remember the numbers, it was so long ago, but this is like what it was. So, but if you didn't hit your goal, that's it. They don't print. So like, it's like a bit of like a gamble, you know? So I would set like 25 sales as my goals because I was like nervous. And then only after a bit of time was I setting like 50, 100 higher goals because I knew I could hit them. And the higher the goal, the more money I was making. But it was just such a weird concept because like when someone bought the t-shirt, they knew they weren't going to get it delivered until the goal was hit. So they would share it to try and get that goal hit. That's not like that anymore. Like they changed it, which is a shame because I thought that was such a good business model.
Wow.
But yeah, and also these are the days where like I remember t-shirts cost me like less than $5. Like it was so cheap. And I was able to sell them for over 20. So Facebook ads, like my margins were huge, even with Facebook ads, which were also like dirt cheap back then.
What kind of designing tools were you using? Because Canva wasn't.
I was using Photoshop. Yeah.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
using Photoshop since I was like 13, 14. So like I've always known how to use it. So yeah. But also like my designs were incredibly basic, like a couple of words. Like
Yeah.
really, really, really basic stuff.
And then for your ads creatives, was it just static images?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there wasn't this carousel when I first started. There wasn't like carousel ads and that kind of stuff. It was literally just an image with my most popular ad was the t-shirt at a bit of an angle. So it's like you're scrolling through everything straight and it's like at an angle with a red background and a green border. I know it sounds really scammy. And then just the title, like, limited edition, whatever. You know, X sold, whatever, like get yours. And yeah, those did really, really well. Like really well. And also they weren't click to website ads, they were page post engagement ads. So like I was paying for posts to go viral rather than paying to get clicks to the website. Now, with ads that I do on Facebook, I pay for as many clicks to the website or conversions to the website because that's the best way of doing it. But back then, if you could create a page post engagement ad, so you're just paying for likes, comments, shares. I had some posts that had like over 1,000 shares, 10,000 comments, and a lot of that was organic because once you get to a certain number of shares, it kind of just starts snowballing. Yeah, like I had Facebook pages. I grew Facebook pages to over 100,000 followers at this time because it was cheap and easy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the type of designs, were they like basic or was it like funny or?
They were so basic. They were so basic. Some of them were funny, but like most of them were like either job related, name related.
Good old days.
Yeah, like 99% of them were job related. Bartender, plumber, electrician, it goes on. And they were all scalable designs. Every single one of them was a scalable design. I literally just changed one word out. And that's how I was able to do so many so quickly. I remember I did like over 100 designs in my first week of doing it. The only difficulty was I spent $10 testing every single design. I did a $10 Facebook ad as a test. So 100 designs, not all of them worked. But because it was a proven scalable design, most of them were like over 80% of them worked, which is unheard of in print on demand nowadays to have that many designs succeed.
Right.
Yeah, it's so much harder now. So much harder.
Okay, that's super interesting. And then at what point, I mean, you have so many things under your belt. I mean, eBay, Amazon, Etsy, right?
Etsy a little bit. Etsy a really little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So out of all the things that you've done, all the different e-commerce outlets, right? I guess today, what is your favorite and why?
YouTube, which is weird because YouTube makes me the least money. It's the most amount of effort and work. It causes the most stress and anxiety, but like I'm addicted to it. So that's why. Like I've done, like my Amazon business did 500,000, which was great, but I hated it. And then we had a course that did also nearly 500,000, which was great. And I actually really enjoyed that, but it wasn't my thing, you know. I don't know. It just wasn't either because it was a course about Amazon and because I wasn't enjoying Amazon, you know, just automatically. But YouTube, like I don't know what it is. Like I can have if I have a video that pops off, it's a good day. It is a fantastic, even though that video popping off means nothing to like my bank account. it's a good day. Like, I will take the rest of the day off. I will chill. It will be amazing. I'll be on a high. Similarly, if I have a video that tanks, oh, I don't want to, you don't want to be around me. Like, my wife knows to not be in the same room as me. I'm not a happy camper. I'm just a depressed heap of nothing, just sitting on the couch being
This
like, everyone
is
leave me
not
alone.
good. This is not a good
No, it's so
relationship.
bad.
This is toxic
It's
as hell.
it's so bad. Honestly,
It's
I'll tell you.
similar to like when I would have a really good sales day. Like, oh my gosh, we had whatever crazy sales day, and then the next day you're doing like half of what you did yesterday. I was the same way. But it's like,
Yeah, it's the same with everything. Like with Amazon, I had the Amazon seller app on my phone,
yeah,
and I would like just swipe down so it refreshed. And on days where we did like 100 sales in a day, it was like the best thing ever. And that was different because that was like actual money is hitting my bank account. This is like the best thing ever. But then it's like the next day you get 2 sales, and you're just like, nothing has changed. Well, what is going on? Like, what have I done? Like, why is the universe hating me right now?
So what's the answer to this? Because this is just one big
A
not
therapist.
healthy.
An answer is
Therapist?
no, I'm kidding. I honestly like, I don't know, getting a better grasp of your emotions. It sounds really stupid, but like, it's not even. I'm not even an emotional person. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
like crying and all these kind of things. But like, I have ups and downs. Like, I can get like sad or angry, but I can also get really happy and elated. Like, for example, I'm going skiing next week, right? And I'm going to be on a constant high the entire trip. I just know it, regardless of how my videos do. I'm probably not even going to look at the ones that I've scheduled. I just don't care. But it's like you can control your emotions by feeding them with scheduled bits of like medicine that you know is going to work. Like, I'm not saying drugs. Please don't do drugs. But like, if you know something is going to put you in a good mood, try and organize that thing to happen at the same time that another thing's happening that could potentially put you in a bad mood. So like, if there's a day where I have a YouTube video and on that same day, I don't know, something else is happening, and I schedule something else to happen so that I know, oh, YouTube didn't do so bad. It's fine, cool. Like, I'm happy that this is happening. And that's kind of how I started dealing with it, like in the last like year or so, that I've had days where like my videos have been absolutely terrible. But I'll just, make sure something else is lined up that day as well, where it's guaranteed to be like
Good.
a good feeling. Yeah. Without the use of alcohol or drugs, of course.
Yeah. Definitely not that. Don't
Rely on those things.
don't do that to yourself. I don't know. I think that I hear what you're saying. I think I'm going to push back a little bit on that. I think that there's something deeper, like, because in a way you're just trying to distract yourself from something deeper that could be happening.
Probably, yeah.
And something, because I'm the same way. For me, I don't get, I mean, especially with my YouTube channel, definitely similar emotions, but it would more so be like with my sales, with my brands or whatever. Oh my gosh, I'm failing. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I don't know what I'm doing one day. And then the next day we do $5,000, right? Or whatever. But I think the overarching thing that's helped me is like having a clearly defined goal, like where you're going, and like, are you educated? Do you know what you're doing? Do you have the tools in your toolbox to achieve that goal? Right? If you're missing tools in your toolbox or you're unsure about something, right? And it's just a matter of learning a new skill or hiring a coach or talking to this person or getting in that group or going to that event or like whatever, right? Those are just things, like if it's just a matter of knowledge, like, and you're just missing something, oh, okay, well, we don't need to stress over that because I know that I can acquire any skill. But the big thing is like, what is the goal? Like, what is the end game for this? Like, what is the bigger goal? And if you know that you're working towards that every day and you're not going to stop, right? This is me, like the thing that because I'm not saying I'm not emotional or I'm perfect, because I'm definitely not, because I am getting just as emotional as you. But the one thing that I draw back to or go back to is, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing this in the first place? Why am I here? Okay, what is the actual goal? And is this goal actually serving me? Like, am I actually doing this because this is something that I really truly want in my whole being, or is this just something my ego wants, right? And then when you're working towards that goal, that is something that puts you in flow, right? The hiccups aren't as, soul crushing.
I've also kind of looked a good way as well is to look at chunks of time rather than day by day, but like month by month. And that's, to me, has been the best thing,
For
just from a
sure.
money perspective. So I don't do this so much for YouTube, but I do this for my income. So when I look at when I look at like daily sales or daily income, then
Mm.
yes, it's mixed. Like it's the emotions are all over the place, a yo-yo. But if you kind of like zoom out a bit and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it month by month. Oh, this month was 10 grand. Okay, that month was 12. Okay, that month was 15. Okay, that month was 9. They're all around the same. They're all good, even if in that month one day was 0, one day was 500. That doesn't matter. Just that. So looking at it from a more wider view is actually
Mhm.
much better. And I guess you can do that on YouTube. Like, oh, last month I did 100,000 views. This month I did 98,000 views. That's still okay, even though 2 videos failed. I guess you can look at it like that, and it's just the overall picture.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's what I found to really help, like just zooming out a little bit and taking larger chunks of time to manage your emotions that way as well.
Yeah, no, that's super valuable, 100%. I think that speaks exactly to definitely my problem from the day to day.
Mm.
Because, yeah, I mean, I guess the goal would be is like, you know, being able to navigate this whole roller coaster of business and not being such this yo-yo, because at that point it's like, what the freak are we doing this for then if we're just going to be up and down, up and down? Like the highs are really high and the lows are like really low. But like I'm
Yeah.
trying to get somewhere where I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
good, content. So probably similar
Exactly.
to you. So what is it next for you, Shimmy Morris? What are you working on for this 2024?
2024 is going to be a big year, hopefully, for me. Working on, I'm building an e-commerce brand, like an apparel brand, where it's not just another print-on-demand company, but it's actually a brand that my hope and aim is for it to be a recognized name, where I could eventually sell it as a brand, not as a print on demand company. Because I've done print on demand and it's great and it makes good money. But like this idea of building a brand, we're talking 8, 9-figure exits if you can build that brand to be a recognizable name. So that's like I've split my focus up in 3 things. So that's like 33% of my focus. The next 33% of my focus is going to be on my YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
either this channel, a new channel, whatever it is. I'm not quite done with YouTube. I think I've still got a bit more to explore. Um, and then the next last 33% of my focus is going to be on building like a membership, trying to help people on a more individual basis, keeping it very limited, like 25 people, 50 people, 100 people. Not to try and get like the biggest membership ever, make millions of pounds from it. More to kind of connect with my audience on a much more personal level. And that's like taking up a huge focus. So right now that like the website's being built, membership site's being built, all the content for it's being built, and the processes are being built for that. Likewise with the apparel brand, that's all being built, and now ads started and that's being tested, and sales are like slow at the beginning, but it will grow. Get that into shops and start growing it that way as well. So those are like my 3 main focuses, which is good because like last year I had like 10 focuses and it was all over the place.
Good.
Yeah,
Dialing in.
dialing in, which 3 is still quite excessive, but like I'm doing it now differently. So like with YouTube, I've got 2 editors, so that is going to take up help me with a lot of my time. With the Shopify thing, with the brand, I'm building. I'm doing it. I'm doing it on my own, but I'm there's an incredible person helping me with it, like absolutely brilliant. He's just a genius, an absolute genius, and so he's helped me with that. And then with the membership site, my wife is building the website and doing the design and the UI and the UX and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going in on things all on my own at the moment, because there's only so much time in the day. And then the last thing, I know I split this up into 3 things. It was never on my plan this year, but there's a potential that an app, a program, a software, print on demand software, will be for sale, and I might buy it and own it with one other person. But because that's like up in the air, we don't know what's happening with that, and who knows. Then I'm just not like it's not even one of my 3 things. If it happens, it happens, and I'll have to
Yeah.
split focus up into 4 things. But at the moment, it's like it's just not even a thing. But yeah, that is my main thing. That's my
That's
main 3
awesome.
things. Yeah.
Well, those definitely have more synergy than
Yes, I
you
hope so.
think. They do. They flow more nicely together. It's not like you're running
Yeah,
out.
because I'll use YouTube to make videos about the
Yeah.
store and help
Right.
people with building their own stores, and I'll use the membership for the
Mhm.
store and for the YouTube. So like they all kind of like work hand in hand. There's
Exactly.
little things like investing and
Mhm.
crypto and those things, but like those aren't businesses. Those are just like at the end of the
Yeah.
month, I just put some money aside. So it's not really like I don't have to think
Right.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow, that's awesome. Dialed in 2024. Let's go.
Let's
Shimmy
go.
Morris. All right. And to top this whole really valuable conversation off, I really like this. I like this episode a lot.
Yeah, me too. I'm down to do this again. Go into more
Yeah,
detail about different things. This was good fun.
yeah. Maybe not always rainbows and butterflies, but the
The truth.
realness of
Well,
it all.
yeah.
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 The ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. So to top this off, what is the one thing, or if you have more than one thing, that's fine, that you're never going to stop striving for until death stop you?
That silver play button. No, kidding. Um, I
You're
would
gonna get
say,
that before you die, so that doesn't
but
count.
if I don't, I'll be very upset. Literally, I'll be on my deathbed, just being like, I had 1 subscriber left. Like I just couldn't do it. No, I want to say the one thing I'm striving for is freedom, like
Mm,
location, job, security, like just like I don't. It sounds really weird, but like I want to be able to just. It sounds stupid, but I want to be able to wake up and just sit on my couch and just sit there and be like, "Am I allowed to swear? I can't swear. I won't swear."
yeah, swear.
Just sit there and be like, "Fuck it, I've done it. I'm done.
It's all
I
work.
yeah, like it's all paid off. I'm free. Like today, I'm gonna go and do this, or I'm gonna go do like just to know that there is enough money in the bank that I'm good. My family's good. My future kids will be good.
Mm,
There's things set up in case things go wrong. Just to know that like everything is in place.
mm,
Which I'm hoping 2024 does. That's my goal for 2024 to get to that point by, and that's also like a goal because I'm 28. I will be 30 in 2025. So is that right? It's 2024. I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll be 30 in 2025. So it's also my goal to like have this sense of freedom before I turn 30, which again is silly because like some people don't even start businesses. People who are like billionaires don't even start businesses until they're over 30. So
Yeah.
like I don't know why I'm giving myself all this pressure.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't put pressure.
No,
You're gonna be bored if you retire at 30, let's be
no,
honest.
no. You hear me wrong. I will never ever retire. I will
Oh,
always do
okay.
something, but it's the idea of knowing I will only do what I'm truly passionate about, what I love, what I
Mhm,
want to be doing. And if there's a day when I don't want to do it, I don't need to stress about it. You know, if
mm,
a bill comes in, just pay it. I don't need to be thinking, oh, 2000 just gone like that. What a waste. You know, what did we get for that? Just
mm,
whatever. You know, if shit hits the fan, I'm okay.
mm,
It's that's the idea. But I don't think I'll ever retire. Like my dad's 72 and he still works, hasn't retired.
mm.
My grandpa basically worked until he couldn't anymore. I don't like. It's not in my blood to retire, kind of thing.
Yeah, and just couch potato. No,
No,
I
no,
don't me either. Well, this has been awesome, Shimmy. I just want to say thank you so much. I'm gonna make sure that all of your links are below this video.
cool. Thank you.
So everyone can go follow your amazing YouTube channel that you have put thousands of hours of free information in there for you all to go check out. And yeah, hopefully we can do this again sometime soon.
For sure. Amazing. Thank you so much. It's been awesome being on.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye, guys.